You had mentioned in an interview in the Sunday Times back in 2021 that you felt boycotted by Hollywood. Do you still feel that?
Opening the Cannes Film Festival, he's got European movie makers behind him, standing ovation in the theatre. What he needs now is to get to Hollywood.
I don't think about Hollywood. I don't have much further need for Hollywood myself.
Johhny Depp's appearance at the Cannes Film this year has been met with a lot of different responses, not only because of his return to film, but also over the fact that he blasted Hollywood for boycotting and betraying him during the past few years. One of the reporters asked him whether he still felt boycotted by Hollywood the way he had felt in a 2021 interview, and Johhny answered that he no longer feels boycotted because he doesn't need Hollywood anymore. He said, "Did I feel boycotted by Hollywood? Well, you'd have to not have a pulse to feel at that point like this was all just a weird joke." He continued, "Of course, when you're asked to resign from a film you're doing because of something that's merely a bunch of vowels and consonants floating in the air." He added that Hollywood had gotten to a very strange and funny time where everyone would love to be themselves but can't because they must fall in line with the person in front of them. He claimed that those who wanted to follow that line should do whatever they want, but he wasn't joining them. Depp then circled back to his controversies and acknowledged that it has been difficult for him to move on as a public figure. He claimed that a majority of people have been reading about his life for the past 6 years, and that the majority of what they have read was fantastically and horrifically written fiction. He said, "The fact is, we're here to talk about the film, but it's like asking the question, 'How are you doing?' But what's underneath in the subtext is, 'God, I hate you.'" That's the sort of media thing. Depp wasn't holding back during the interview, and he even objected to the framing of his appearance in the new French film as a comeback, claiming that he never went anywhere. Johhny Depp said, "I keep wondering about the word comeback because I didn't go anywhere. I live about 45 minutes away from here, in fact. Maybe people stopped calling out of whatever their fear was at the time, but I didn't go anywhere." He claimed that he had been around and that to him the word comeback is almost like I'm going to come out and do a tap dance. Dance his best and hope the audience approves. This interview took place at the press conference for Jeanne, where Depp plays Louis XV, speaking exclusively in French, alongside Maïwenn as the title character and supporting stars Benjamin Lavernet, Melville Poupeau, Pierre Richard, Pascal Gregory, and India Hare. The story follows Jeanne Vaubernier, a working-class young woman hungry for culture and pleasure, who uses her intelligence and allure to relentlessly climb the rungs of the social ladder. She ends up becoming the favorite of Louis XV, who, unaware of her status as a courtesan, regains through her his appetite and will for life. The two fall madly in love, and against all propriety and etiquette, Jeanne moves to Versailles, where her arrival scandalizes the court. Normally, at the Cannes Film Festival, the premiere of a warmly received French period drama would be followed by a press conference with the director and stars patiently lined up to discuss the work's creation for the international media. But that's not how it went down when the film happened to star Johhny Depp, one of the world's biggest celebrities in the midst of an attempted career comeback following several years of damaging scandals.
Nearly a year since his legal victory over Amber Heard, fans went crazy for Johhny today at the Cannes Film Festival.
On the first day of screening, the hottest ticket in town was nonetheless the press conference for the prior night's opening film, Jeanne. But as the film's director and cast walked into the hall for the press briefing, everyone looked surprised because Johhny was absent. The event's moderator, Cannes regular Didier Alouche, assured the audience that Depp would arrive late, and Depp finally strode into appreciative applause some 45 minutes after the event had begun. This year's Cannes marks Depp's first starring performance after years of legal fighting and a messy divorce with ex-wife Amber Heard, all of which included allegations of domestic violence and 2 high-profile defamation lawsuits. It was like none of that ever happened last Tuesday night on the Côte d'Azur, since Depp was greeted by throngs of superfans along the red carpet, and later received a 4-minute standing ovation from the Cannes glitterati as the credits rolled on Jeanne Depps' first screening, where critics' reviews were muted. While outside the conference it was all merry and fun, the scene inside of the press conference was predictably more confrontational, albeit politely so. Right after his arrival, Depp was asked whether he still feels boycotted by Hollywood referring to a statement he made in an interview in 2021 where he had claimed to have felt betrayed since it was shortly after Heard had made allegations against him that he was dropped from Warner Brothers. Right after Heard's allegations, Warner's had announced it would recast Johhny Depp's character in the Fantastic Beasts movie, where he was set to reprise the role of evil wizard Gellert Grindelwald. Depp had been the one who portrayed Grindelwald in the 2 previous installments of the franchise, and so it would have made sense if he had finished up with the character. The studio had said in a statement, "We thank Johhny for his work on the films to date." And while the public thought Johhny had resigned by himself, he said he was asked to resign from the role by the company. "I have respected and agreed to this request," Depp said in a statement on Instagram. Everyone could see that Warner's was boycotting him since the move came a few days after Johhny lost a high-profile court case involving his ex-wife Amber Heard and the UK tabloid The Sun. Depp had sued the newspaper over a 2018 article that described him as a wife-beater, even though his name wasn't mentioned. Unfortunately for Depp, the actor lost the libel case, with the London High Court finding that the article was substantially true. This didn't stop him, though, since he said, "The surreal judgment of the court in the UK will not change my fight to tell the truth, and I confirm that I plan to appeal. My life and career will not be defined by this moment in time." Several years, and he did win his last year's defamation trial against Amber and was able to tell his truth. Now that he is finally getting up on his feet, Amber's supporters are lashing out, calling for him to be removed from the movie, and one of them is Amber Heard's friend, Eve Barlow, who attacked Johhny Depp's appearance while she compared the actor to child predators and rapist. The journalist targeted the festival for supporting abusers on her social media, as she claimed that nobody would say anything against Big Boss Depp because of the power he has in Hollywood. Barlow was not impressed with Depp's acting prowess and wanted people to see him only as his ex-wife described him, without mentioning his name in her 2018 op-ed for The Washington Post. Ahead of Johnny's appearance, Barlow wrote on Instagram beside a picture of Johhny Depp saying that Cannes seemed proud of their history of supporting rapists and abusers before hashtagging Can You Not. She further lashed out at the festival on Twitter and said, "It's encouraging to see that there is reporting and backlash on the perpetrators' attendance at Cannes. What would be even more encouraging is if the landscape was fair enough that Amber Heard could be there as a L'Oreal ambassador," Barlow added. In another tweet, Barlow said that Johhny had a lot of power in Hollywood and that no one would speak up even if he had hurt them. She also claimed that nobody will speak up because of the steer this man has in Hollywood. Barlow also went on to dismiss speculations that she is receiving some kind of advantage for publicly voicing support for Heard over her claim that Depp abused her. Barlow wrote, "Imagine there are people who think that I stand to be at an advantage for supporting a woman who has stood up to one of the most powerful and famous men in the world." Barlow then went the extra mile of insulting Johhny by dropping an image on her Instagram to compare him to Woody Allen and Roman Polanski, who are both accused of sexually abusing a minor. A source close to Depp defended him, saying, "The other people in this post are alleged or convicted child predators and rapists. That is not Johhny." He won his trial, and he was not accused of anything like this, the insider said. The film was released in French cinemas simultaneously with its Cannes bow, outside cinemas in Cannes, and across France on opening night. Despite the surrounding controversy, reactions to the film itself have been rather muted, with The Hollywood Reporter's critic describing the film as sumptuously made and filled with jaw-dropping costumes, but also, well, kind of bland. A fan on Twitter said, "Kind of funny weird how studios can quite quickly assume that if they cannot see you, you've gone somewhere." Hollywood chose to turn their backs on Johhny, shunned him, and pretended it was his fault. Another said, "What a glorious day. I feel as though the sun has just shone after being in the shade for so long. Go Johhny Depp. You slay." Anyways, let's not forget that this video is based on theories and my opinions and should not be considered facts. That's it for this video. Bye.